need to know. Hey everyone, thank you for being with us here today. Our very own Stat Antastwa has recorded her marriage experience as a foreign-born military spouse in Korea, and today we're going to be reacting to her video. Join us.
Are you thinking of getting married in Korea to a US military service member? Welcome back to my channel, Flames. It's Phoenix Sikliyazana Elingumambi Jikelele. In today's vlog, we are talking about the first step of getting married. In the military, you need a premarital approval from chain of command, and that is the most important thing. First things first, the military service member has to notify the unit commander or the S1 admin office. It's like saying, "Hey boss, I found the one, and we are ready to make it official."
See, my husband never told me something like that exists.
Wait a second.
I was
There's
like,
something like that? Oh my God. I have never heard, my own experience did not include that part. Did not include that part. I just know that we organized the ceremony in Kenya and we went to the ceremony and he went back. I guess all the paperwork was on him, but again, I never heard anything about. This is so interesting. Very interesting. I wonder whether it's just specific to Korea or specific to service members stationed or corners.
maybe. Did you get married in Kenya?
Yes.
That's awesome. We got married in the States, and I need to ask him when he comes home. I don't think he did that. Let's
Yes,
see.
sir. Step 2. Now that we have the approval from the chain of command, now we start getting into counseling and meetings and interviews and paperwork. I said paperwork, right? Yes. So, this is the time when, depending on the unit that you're going to be in, you're gonna be given tons of papers. I'm talking about marriage procedures. I am talking about checklist for the legal review for international marriage. I'm talking about premarital certification. It's a whole lot of papers and they all need to be signed by different people. I would say think of it as pre-marriage boot camp. So they'll be covering topics such as legal rights, financial responsibilities, as well as they'll be covering how marriage fits into military life abroad.
You gotta pause, girl.
Tell me.
What? They tell people that? Where was my memo? Where's my memo? Lordy Lord.
You
Wow.
think it's like maybe an see, I mean, you've been married for so long, but we got married only like 2 years ago, and it wasn't a thing. Like you would think, okay, maybe is it a new thing? And none of
I
this
don't
happened.
know. Or is
Yeah,
it service specific? Do they do that in a certain branch and not another branch? I'm very curious.
yeah. We went with like two papers. My husband called 2 days before and like got an appointment. I was shocked coming from like, India with the way we do our marriages. We can just go,
Yeah.
like sign a paper and be married.
Yeah.
But if I went through all of this, I'd have been like, why is it so difficult to marry you? I don't want to.
So you're probably asking yourself, I don't care about anything else. I just want to know what documents I have to bring, right? I understand you. That's how I felt too. So here goes the list. For the intended spouse, you need a birth certificate. You need a singleness certificate from the
I find this completely like very unique. What's a singleness certificate?
You gotta demonstrate that you are actually available to marry. So I think you're of age and you are not married elsewhere. You gotta prove that you're available to marry.
That's interesting. Like
Mhm.
how like you know what I mean? Like I don't think we have
Yep.
a paper like that back home. Maybe they do, but I never produced it.
I also don't think so. having practiced for years, I never ever asked anyone for a singleness certificate. But you gotta certify that you are single by just signing there a statement that says I'm single and available to marry. But
Okay.
a certificate, that one is very, very different. I
Do
never.
you did like a lot of legal work in Kenya. Like,
Mhm.
do you have papers like that in Kenya?
No, that's what I'm saying. I never in my years ever seen something like single certificate. It's like it's just on the marriage like as you apply the marriage license, there's a place that you gotta certify that I am single and available to marry,
Okay.
you know? But there's nothing like a certificate for it.
Interesting.
Very.
MC, a police clearance. And make sure that your police clearance is not expired. Original certified divorce decree, a visa medical, you need a copy of the passport and also an original passport, a child's birth certificate, as well as a copy of the child's passport. Each country does vary. And if you want to find out more, just subscribe and like. So when it comes to the service member, what do they need? They need around two things. They need an original certified birth certificate or passport, and then they need an original certified divorce decree if they are divorced. This one's a beast. The soldiers gotta fill out a marriage packet, which could include command approval letter, financial paperwork, information about the foreign fiancé, proof of intent to marry. I just want to introduce you to an NGO that I'm currently working with. This is an NGO that helps support, uplift, and empower every member of our community when it comes to foreign-born spouses, whether you're battling with isolation, immigration, career, culture, language, finance. Foreign-born military spouses network is the group to join, and we're currently running a competition at the moment, so visit our Facebook group. So basically,
Thank you for the shout out, Tantas.
I know, and something makes me curious here. If the service member is filling up all this paperwork about their foreign spouse, that tells me that the military has data on foreign-born spouses,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they probably know how to reach them then. So maybe one of our biggest challenges of reaching foreign-born spouses might just be cracked just like that. Anyway,
100%. I
for real.
like I when we got married, I took nothing. Maybe like my passport as an ID, but this is like so much brand new information to me. And yeah, my husband's not got so much work on. I would have never done it.
basically, you can't just run to the Go office, which is the city council, where you register for your marriage. Say, I do, I do, I do, I do. And the next thing, you find out your marriage was never valid in the very first place because you're supposed to go through this premarital process in the very beginning.
So now, is that true for like all services? Like I know that we don't get any reimbursements or like support for our immigration process. Like we didn't get any because our process was very complicated. I mean, it was unique
Mhm.
because I didn't have like marriage visa. I was on my B1, B2,
Mhm.
and yeah, I don't know. Can everybody get like support in that stage?
I'm not sure. I
Mhm.
probably also need to ask my husband, but I know there are certain services for that. I know for sure. Yeah, but I'm not sure whether it's service specific or, I mean, branch specific or it's across the board.
Mm,
That's an interesting one. Man, we learn new things
yeah,
every
and this
day.
this
That
is
is why I like it
very
when people share stuff because you learn things every single day.
yeah.
You know,
I mean,
something
they're
that
in
also.
Korea.
Mhm.
They're trying to reach South Africa. They're working
Yep.
through US military process. So many layers of challenges. Like,
So many layers for sure. Something that caught my eye there was the South African embassy with picking calls. And I'm like, are you telling me they behave like the Kenyans as well? Anyway, any one of you with your own embassy challenges, drop them there. I would like to see them and laugh. Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
My experience was very, very hard. Not a lot of places knew the information regarding foreign nationals who are in Korea getting married to US service members. We had to do a lot of digging by ourselves, ask friends and so forth. So you can go to Osan even if you are stationed in Pyeongtaek. You can go to Pyeongtaek if you're stationed in Osan, but I would advise you go to Osan instead of Pyeongtaek. If you do not complete this packet, there will be repercussions for not completing because you won't be able to register. All the units, they follow this procedure. It is to abide with the laws of Korea. For safety measures from legal office, they will let you know what your benefits are, what the military can do for you in the legal side of things. And then we had counseling also for the chaplain. I would say very social questions. How long have you guys dated? How long do you know each other? The battalion commander is the one who did a meeting with us. It felt like an interview. She gets to pick the date that she wants. And we did a first meeting. It didn't go very well. I guess it was rubbing in the wrong way for that person. And she was also a divorcee. And her questions, they're a bit off. I remember this lady saying, how would you fit in America? And I was like, I'm abroad. I'm already here. I'm already in Korea. I'm sure I can fit anyway.
Hold up.
Basically,
Wow. Wow. Outright. How are you gonna fit? That there just made the hairs the back of my neck just no. That there is, I don't know. I want to say something, but I can't. So what I'm gonna say is I feel like that is very intrusive, that is very rude, that is very discriminatory, and that is very impolite. I don't know, all the words I can think about, that's not okay. That there is not okay. That there is not okay. And I guess it goes into, I remember making a post the other day about being in between places. You're too this for that and you're too foreign for America. It's like, yeah, no wonder sometimes you get questions like, or comments like, oh, you speak very good English. And you don't know how to answer because it's like, that's okay, So yeah, I can even tell from her face. She's like,
I'm
yeah,
happy about it.
exactly.
Yeah. I mean,
Anyway,
Tantaswa is our, holy, calm presence. Like she's always happy, smiling, giving
yeah,
us great positive vibes. So it's a
yeah,
painful
anyway,
experience to like, I just
yeah,
want to marry someone I love. That's all. Like, leave me alone. It's it's not fair.
no,
Yeah.
one.
I was initially jealous because I was like, she got counseling, she got to know about all of this, but now I'm like, it's fine.
man,
Yeah, it's very tough.
it is tough
Yeah.
sometimes. Anyway,
Wanted to know how much my husband was earning. She was asking how much he has in the bank, and I just felt that was very intrusive. Make sure you don't react in some way?
I mean, like, I feel like that question is okay because they do have that in like the process. But what do you think about like the relevance of your, leader asking you that? Because I know it's there in like our paperwork when we submit for like, marriage visa and like adjustment of status. They have, because they're a sponsor, they have to prove that they are financially like strong enough to support you. But is it like required for people in the command to know that information or like ask that question?
That's what I'm wondering. I
Mhm.
mean, if it's in the paperwork, you will put it in the paperwork, but directly asking you about that and asking how much. You
Yeah.
know, there's a question of you can take care of me because you are employed full time, you make enough money to sustain a family, you know? You can get that from a pay stub. But asking me how much I have in the bank,
Yeah.
that's a different level. Like, you want me to tell you that I have $50,000 in the bank or what?
Yeah.
That's a different level.
Definitely.
Maybe it's me interpreting it differently, but I'm just
I
like,
mean, even if her intention was to like make the service member aware that he's like responsible for her, there's ways to like phrase it, but instead of being like, how much money do you have?
mhm,
So I
mhm.
like just saying that, are you legally aware that you're like financially responsible for someone you sponsor and what happens with it? Because I scare my husband sometimes. I'm like, even if I leave you, you're responsible for me in this country because he's my sponsor, right? And I'm like,
Yes.
do you not know that? So, yeah.
I know the other aspect of, for example, when you're planning to go to school, they need you to have at least this amount of money. That's another way to,
Mm.
do you have at least, I don't know, $5,000 or something? But how much that one hits differently. Anyway, let's proceed.
Way, be calm in any of these counselings or meetings or interviews. After that, the process was quite long because the papers need to be signed by different people. So at one moment, another person will be off, maybe the person will be on leave, or a person will be sick, or the person is getting deployed and there's going to be a new person. So sometimes that prolongs the entire process, at least 3 months old, not older than that. That is the validity of um, documents in Korea. They need to be 3 months, not 6 months. Another thing that you need to know is just because it's dead 3 months doesn't mean that you cannot still try, it hasn't really expired. It's just the law in Korea, but just just putting it out there. After that whole process and everything has been signed and you've done your counseling and all the signatures are there, you can then go and register for your marriage. I think about myself, how far I've come. I think about my husband, how far he's come. And if you do not have somebody who is very, very patient and supportive, you will really, really struggle. I just want to say big shout out to the people who've been watching my vlog, subscribing to my vlog. Always be proud of where you come from. Always be proud of your continent, no matter what people say about it, because that's where you were born, that's where you come from. It's Phoenix, igqiyazana elingumhambi jikelele. Thank you for watching.
Thank you.
I love the accent. It's just so, but look at that smile.
She's
Don't
a
you just want to hug her? So beautiful.
I, the immigration process was, hands down the most isolating process of like my entire move here. So yeah, it's almost like you can see the pain, when we talk about that aspect of like our lives. It's just so like,
I know. And
yeah,
it's one of the top three challenges for our spouses whenever we are admitting them in and ask, what are your top three challenges?
yeah.
There's migration, there's isolation, that cultural, disconnect, and there's career. So I get it. I get it. I get it. Actually, and maybe for next time, but she just reminded me of some questions I also got asked at the embassy that, yep.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
Very interesting.
Good. Anyway, thank you so much for taking time and watching this with us. And follow Tantasa's channel and follow us and support the Foreign Born Military Spouse Plug in any way you can. Have a great rest of your day.
Share with your friends, share so they can know what